I'll never forget this day. Forever. It's the one thing, probably, that I'll always have in my head. Crystal clear. Never forget it. Me and a buddy of mine. I couldn't have been any more than 18 years old. Me and a buddy of mine, a good friend of mine, somebody I grew up with. We went to South Dakota one night. He was into UFC, fighting, and mixed martial arts and all that. I was his sparring buddy, and he was training me on the side, right? So he was teaching me how to fight, you know? We went up to South Dakota because he had a fight. When we got to South Dakota, there was one of the fighters that didn't show up for his fight. And they looked at me, and they said, "Hey, you want to fight? You want to fight this guy?" Why not? I said, I want to test myself out at this, you know? This is amateur, mixed martial arts. But anyway, the night of the fight, we did our little weigh-in, and I ended up weighing probably I don't know. I would have had to have been 20 or 30 pounds smaller than this guy, at least. That's, I was probably 170, and this guy had to be 200 easy. But anyway, amateur stuff, so nobody really cares. If you say yes and you sign the papers, they're good to go. They're good to let you in there. That night, though, when it was fight time, and it's raining outside. This cage is outside. It's pouring rain. Fight night. My buddy, he's hyping me up, You got this. You got this. Kick him here. Do this. Use your jab. And I'm thinking in my head, yeah, I'm going to kill this guy. Time comes, they call you out. It's raining outside when I get out there. I'm walking up towards the cage. It's raining. All you see, you don't see any of the crowd, that's around the octagon. All you see are lights, okay? And you see that guy standing in the ring, just waiting for you. I'm telling you right now, that guy was huge. My adrenaline, I can't even explain to you the level that my adrenaline was at that night. Off the charts. If I'd have drunk a Monster Energy drink that night, I'd have probably been dead. Because my heart was on overdose. And I'm looking around, and you know what? They walk you up them stairs. They lock you in that cage with that guy. And that's it. You gotta fight. You gotta fight for your life. Okay? It turns into a life or death situation in your head. Okay? I lost that fight. In so many words. I didn't win that fight that night. Okay? When I got back home, I was texting my older brother. And I explained to him what had happened. I told him I lost the fight. And I remember I was sitting in Taco John's. And he texted me back and he said, I told him I lost the fight. And all he said was, "Why did you lose?" I remember those words. He said, "Why did you lose?" And I know he wasn't saying it to me like, how could you do this? You embarrassed the family name or anything like that. He was asking me, why did you lose? What happened? But when he said that, man, you should have seen me. I just fell apart. Because I felt like I let everybody down. Let everybody down. I was in a place that day, and for a few days after that, where I was so sure that I was a defeated man, just because I had lost that fight. I was telling myself, you lost at life, Your buddy that was sitting out of the corner side watching you, he'd been training you, and you lost that fight for him. Not long ago, my buddy, he found himself in an incredible situation. Now, mind you, this is one of the toughest guys I've ever known. Okay? He was an Army Ranger, trained UFC. He was just a tough dude. Just physically, he'll hurt you. He taught me. He was teaching me the things that he was learning as he was learning them. And we were hanging out, and we were buddies, we were bros. He got involved with this woman, had a kid with this woman, and in the end, that tough SOB, my boy, who was out there just killing people in the octagon. He was a soldier. You know what happened to him in the end? Right here. Okay? One of the very last conversations that I had with him. I remember he told me. He said, my wife. He said, she hates me, Jared. He said, she's so awful to me. This is a soldier we're talking about. This is a man that kills people. Figuratively, maybe literally, he never told me. And he's going through this little emotional bout about how a woman is treating him. In the end, that tough, strong soldier, that man who literally taught me how to fight for my life, how to hurt people, in the end, this is where he ended up at. Feeling like he had no choice. Now, I'm not going to blame that woman for what happened to him. I had a buddy of mine I told this story to. He said, what a coward. The balls on you. I almost killed him right there where he stood. Anybody that knew my buddy knew he wasn't a coward. Okay? Mental pain can be one of the most dangerous things you can ever encounter. He was dealing with some mental pain on a level that physical pain doesn't bring us to. Or it never brought him to it. Trust me, he's been through physical pain. I've been through physical pain. The only reason I'm telling this story is because that mental stuff that's going on in your head, and you're thinking, I can't handle this. Why can't I handle this? I dealt with that. And one person told me once, I was explaining a scenario to this person, kind of a similar situation I was in that my buddy, he went through, and it ended his life. And I was going through the same kind of situation. I was talking to this woman about it. You know what she kept telling me over and over and over again? Oh, you're overthinking it. You're just overthinking it. You're overthinking it. No. You can't overthink what's already in your head, what you're processing in your brain, what's just happening. Okay? It's not a matter of overthinking it. It's a matter of having it happen to you, and you have to think about it. I remember that. One of the very last conversations I had with this man. He said, my wife, Jared, said she hates me. You know, this is a big soldier we're talking about. This is a guy who, you know, he's a superhero. And he's worrying about how a woman treats him. This woman that I was talking to, she's asking me, why do you like to be alone, you know? Why don't you let me in? I almost went to that place that my buddy went to. There was a time I almost went to that place. You know what it was over? Go figure. I'm not saying being alone is for everybody, but I was telling my buddy one more story before I quit here. I was telling another one of my buddies not long ago. I said, you ever watch those movies? You got this big, strong man. He's living his life, you know. He's on top of things. He's taking care of stuff. And he meets a woman. And he ends up dying over it. Physically, he ends up dying over it. How does that happen? Explain to me how a woman is out here taking men's lives, you know, with words. Why do I like to be alone? I can disappear. I haven't made a video for such a long time. I love disappearing. I love, you know, dropping things. People. Just, you're cut off. Okay? Because mentally, you're hurting me. These are my diaries. I felt like I needed to tell this story. I probably didn't go into detail the way I should have, but whatever. My main point here, don't let another human being's words take you to a place where you're going to do something that's going to hurt yourself or someone else. My boy, he's got a little kid that he left here. That kid's going to grow up now with no dad. Nobody. If you have to, take those people that are even remotely bringing you to this place of depression, fear, sadness, loneliness, these feelings you're having. You take that person, you get rid of them as fast as you possibly can. You cut them off for as long as you need to. Better forever, but definitely as long as you need to. Do that and you might end up living a long life. Longer than most. Later.